Have you ever wondered how to make homemade croutons? Well, I'm going to show you today because it's so easy, and once you try it, you're never going to want to buy store-bought ones again. All you need is bread and some butter. You can toss in some spices too. I'm going to show you the whole process. It's super simple. You're going to start with bread, and you can either use whole slices of bread, or you could do like I do and save all your crumbs, your crusts that you have used that people don't like to eat, the crusts of the bread. You can save scraps when you're doing homemade Uncrustables. That's what I like to do, and I just stick them in a freezer until I'm ready to make croutons. You can use whole slices of bread too. You can use homemade bread, you can use store-bought bread. There's so much flexibility. So let me show you how to do this. So you're going to take whatever scraps of bread you have. If you have whole slices, you can just get a knife and you can cut them into little squares. Doesn't have to be perfect. They're going to taste amazing however you do it. This can be, like I said, with homemade bread or store-bought bread. I have found this is a great way just to use up my waste here, the bread that no one wants to eat. Or if your bread's starting to get a little stale, you can use it and turn it into breadcrumbs. After you do it one way, just turn it and cut it the other way into little squares, and those are going to be your croutons. That's how you would do it with whole slices of bread. These, if you can see, were just all the crusts from a couple loaves of bread here. If you have little scraps, these are from when I made homemade Uncrustables, I literally just tear them up into little pieces. I find scraps are great for croutons or making stuffing, but this is what you're going to do with all of your crusts of bread. So I'm going to go ahead and get all my bread prepped here. So that was about half a loaf of bread. It makes 8 cups of breadcrumbs. You can use this with any amount of bread cubes that you want, but this is what I'm using for this recipe. When that's done, you're going to take a stick of butter, toss it in your bowl, and you're going to put it in the microwave until it's melted. Once it's melted, you can add in garlic if you want, but I have little kids who just prefer plain breadcrumbs. So we're going to toss it in. You can start with your first batch. It's a lot of butter, and you're just going to start stirring it around. Then I'm going to toss in the rest of my breadcrumbs. They don't all have to be perfectly coated with butter, but you do want butter on all of them. And don't be afraid to get your hand in there like you're tossing a salad, getting butter all over your breadcrumbs. So this was 1 stick of butter, half a cup of butter for 8 cups of breadcrumbs. Once your bread is all coated, we're going to go ahead and dump it back on our cooking sheet. This is an air-baked cooking sheet. I love these cooking sheets. They just work so well. Now, I'm going to do this on 2 cookie sheets. You want your bread spread out just a little bit so it's not super crowded. It will toast better. Now, there's no exact science for how long to toast them, but we're going to do it at 350, and we're going to start at 10 minutes and check them. This is what your croutons look like after 10 minutes. You're going to start seeing little bits that are getting crispy here around them. We're just going to take these and we're going to shuffle them around. Try to get those middle parts out to the outside edges into the middle. Flip them all around, and we're going to go ahead and put them back in the oven for another 10 minutes. Making croutons is really more of an art than an exact science. This is after 20 minutes on one pan. This is what you're looking for, those nice crispy brown edges. If yours aren't done at this point, toss them back in for 5 minutes. Once they're as crispy as you like, you're going to let them cool on the cookie sheet until they're completely cool, and then you'll store them in an airtight container. Once your croutons are baked and completely cool, you're going to go ahead and put them in an airtight container. I like to use a glass canning jar just because it keeps them really tight. I use a wide mouth one just so I can easily get them in. We can snack on them, enjoy them on a salad. They are a super simple treat. So to recap, you can use store-bought bread, you can use homemade bread, you can use bread slices, you can use bread scraps and heels of the bread, you can use hamburger buns. You're going to take your bread, cut it up or tear it up into small pieces, coat it in butter, add spices if you want, put in the oven on a cookie sheet and bake it at 350. Starting, you're going to check it at 10 minutes. It's not an exact science. Remember, start checking it at every 5-minute intervals after that. And when you are all done, you have delicious croutons to enjoy. I hope this was helpful, and I'm excited for you to enjoy some homemade croutons too. If you want to learn more easy money-saving tips like this, ways to stretch your grocery budget, or super simple things, be sure you subscribe and join me here at Joyfully Thriving, because that's what I do. I love to help people save money on their grocery budget.